Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inspired Hearts Publishing Author Spotlight. I'm super excited today to have Kim Tremblay, and I'm welcoming her on. If you can hold on just 1 minute while I make sure we are in all the places that we're supposed to be showing up on, and then we will get started. Let's see. Sorry, everyone. Oops. Okay, done. Okay, then we'll be able to start over. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Inspired Hearts Publishing Author Spotlight. I'm super excited today to have Kim Tremblay. And so as I get ready to introduce her. So we are doing Author Spotlight to dive into the stories, the wisdom, and the experience of the incredible authors who are making an impact in their communities and beyond. I'm your host, Nicolette Halladay. Hi, for anyone who doesn't know me. And I'm so excited today to be welcoming Kim Tremblay. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So Kim is a semi-retired mental health professional turned clutter coach, dedicated to helping people declutter both physically and emotionally to create a home and life they truly love. With a compassionate and practical approach, she guides clients in letting go of what no longer serves them, whether it's physical possessions, limiting beliefs, or emotional baggage, so they can make space for clarity, joy, and intentional living. Kim wrote in 2021, Kim shared her journey of resilience in the multi-author book Mystics Revealed and returned with an inspiring story of love in the voyage and the return. Through her work and personal journey, Kim empowers others to simply realign and step into life of greater ease and fulfillment. Thank you for being here, Kim.
Thank you again.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Yes, I'm so excited to get to reconnect with you. So like I said, Kim wrote in 2 books. She wrote in the Mystics Revealed, which was the first book produced by Inspired Hearts Publishing. And then she came back to share another story in The Voyage and the Return. We will make sure to link up those books in the comments. So if you're feeling super inspired and want to hear a little bit more about what Kim shared or the other authors who shared their stories in that book, I encourage you to grab a copy. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's start with your author journey, and especially with Mystics Revealed being the first book that you wrote in. What inspired you to say yes and raise your hand to being a co-author in Mystics Revealed?
Well, I've always really liked writing anyway, and I've had a blog post for quite a few years to do with my business, probably since about 2004, something like that, quite a long time. So yeah, I've always liked writing, and I'm not sure when I felt inspired. I know I was inspired by you, Nicolette,
Thank you.
because I met you in another group.
Yes, we had
And
known each other before I had even gotten into publishing.
I
It
know,
was such
and
a treat to actually get to work with you professionally.
exactly. And
Yep.
I followed you, and you were starting to get online and speaking. And I just thought, wow, that's so cool that she's doing that. I was so, and I thought I could do that maybe,
That's awesome. Yes, and
So,
you did it.
so I did follow you. I was following you, and I was following your posts about the book. And I don't know. I guess I just kind of felt like maybe it was the right time to tell my story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did. And it's always been such a joy to work with you and stay connected with you over all this time. So writing can be such a personal and transformative process, right? How has being part of these books and the community of authors impacted you?
Well, writing really both of the stories, but I think mainly the first one really impacted me a lot. It really helped me to, self-reflect and to really think about my stories about many years ago. Kind of, very many years ago. I forget the name of it now. But anyways, it was kind of, I was so young. It was back when I got married at a young age,
Yeah.
and lots of things happened. I had my two children. One of my children has passed away at
Mhm.
age 17.
Mhm.
So, it was kind of during that. I was writing about that time as well. And I was in an abusive relationship with the husband or the father of my children. And, but you know what? It actually led to me getting a great job. It's crazy.
Right, and you share
As
about that in
yeah,
Mystics Revealed,
I
right?
do. And,
Yes.
I ended up really getting involved in self-help at the time. Like I was going to the library, getting books for my kids. And I was also getting books for myself about self-help. And of course, my husband at the time was not too impressed with that.
Yeah.
He was very intimidated by it and thought, kind of like, who do you think you are reading this
Mhm.
stuff? Like, why do you need to read this? But
Yeah.
I really got into that. And I actually started going to a counselor,
Mhm.
and she saw something in me that I didn't see. And I was in her support group. And eventually she actually hired me to help her as her assistant. And
Mhm.
that's when my career started, actually. And I
Mhm.
worked in mental health for 38 years. So it's kind of like a bittersweet story,
Mm.
really, but
Yeah.
it really did help me to really understand some of the things that happened back then,
Mm. Yeah.
and I really had a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah, did writing it bring some clarity, kind of helping you find your power and kind of the resilience piece that you,
I think so. Like I know one of the things that was happening is that I would write for, like, I would make set a goal for myself, like maybe 20 minutes for that week,
Mhm.
because there was a deadline.
Yes. Yeah.
And I would write for the 20 minutes, and I actually gave myself time to really process what I wrote, to really think
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah.
And I think that really helped a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, just
What inspired you then to go on and write your 2nd chapter in The Voyage and the Return?
well, yeah, the voyage and the return was kind of like about a fork in the road, I guess, like you could say.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was about, changing something kind of drastically. And
Mhm.
I do remember I was actually driving to go see my mom, who was in a care home, like about a half an hour away from here, so I could listen to stuff sometimes online, and or just think whatever. She's in a different care home now, but anyways, I remember thinking to myself, I kind of have a good story I could write about.
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
so I had to really think about it. I think I mentioned it to my partner, and my story was about meeting her, and being in a female relationship with someone, which was
Yeah.
totally new for me,
Yeah.
and just kind of falling in love, and really finding my soulmate, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
yeah, and
know I remember at the time you're like, I what I shared in Mystics Revealed was it was deep and, you felt like it was like a little heavy and you were happy to get to share, this kinda next chapter that came.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, when I mentioned it to my partner, she's like, "Yeah, go for it." That's a
Yeah.
good idea, great idea. So anyway, that's kind of how both of those came about.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we often don't realize the power of our stories until we share them.
Mhm.
And we were talking just before this, and you said, visibility, it's a little, makes me a little uneasy. And you keep saying yes. You keep saying yes. I will share. I will be brave. And so, what message do you hope readers take away from the chapters that you shared? In either you can answer for either or both.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think vulnerability is so powerful, right?
Hmm.
Like sharing our stories is amazing. I've always been a really private person,
Hmm.
and I've really been thinking about that lately. Like I think about how, like, I have a really positive attitude, so I kind of walk around like, everything's great, everything's wonderful, which, for the most part it is,
Yeah.
but that's not life. I mean, life is up
Mhm.
and down, right?
True. Yeah.
So yeah, the vulnerability piece, I think, is it's scary sometimes to put yourself out there,
Mhm.
but I think when you do, other people just can really relate to it, and they see something in themselves sometimes,
Yeah.
and they also get to know you and the real you.
Absolutely. And I
It's
think the
great.
other thing that's so valuable, especially when you're someone who is private, who is like, a little uneasy about maybe being more vulnerable and open, is people feel so inspired when they see you
Mhm.
being brave and courageous and sharing, more of yourself. So I think it's kind of an invitation for other people to say, oh yeah, I have something important to share too. Or am I hiding behind kind of the facade? Is there things that I can maybe open up about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part about contributing to the book
Well,
or book publishing?
I mean, I really like the writing part because I do
Mhm.
like writing and just focusing on that. But I also really liked, meeting the other people, the other authors, and also reading. I read all of their stories in both of the
Yes.
books, and they're so inspirational. Plus, I've read a few of the other books as well,
Mhm.
and I just they're really great. But
Yeah.
anyways, just meeting the other authors as well. Like there are a few of them who I'm still in touch with. And then I also have, quite a number of them are on my Facebook as well. So
Sure,
I have
connected with
some contacts that
people.
way too, which is
Yes,
really
awesome.
nice. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and I think, I do think there's something really incredibly powerful that happens when people come together,
Mhm.
sharing openly, like, there it's more than just, this is deeper stuff a lot of times. People are
Yeah.
sharing more personal things and come together to have this successful, project and outcomes. I think there's some really great bonds, and I love that you brought that up because it's one of my favorite parts too, for sure.
Yeah. And there were a lot of learning opportunities too with, some guest speakers. And that was really nice to have that. Like it was kind of like a little community that we had for the
Yeah,
time that we were doing the writing
right.
and
Yeah.
afterwards as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
nice.
it is more than
Mhm.
just the writing and the publishing. We do provide, just training on visibility and sharing more of yourself and connecting and networking. It's kinda like a little mastermind, in addition to getting to write and publish your story, so it's a
Yeah.
pretty great, thing. So I wanna get into you, though, because a big reason, why I'm doing these author spotlights is because the authors who have written in my books are incredible humans, and I am so honored to get to have shared some of their most intimate stories and things, and have gotten to know them. I think I'm just lucky to have such great clients and know such incredible humans, and I feel like it's so important to shine a light, like a really bright light, on the incredible work that you are doing. So I want to dig into that a bit. So um beyond being an author, you've taken your personal experience and turned it into a platform for clarity, simplicity, and transformation. Can you share a little bit more about the work that you do and who you serve?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I work with. I'm just trying to think. Like in general, people who are a little bit older.
Mhm.
Most of the time. I mean, I have worked with younger people too. I work with both men and women,
Mhm.
and I work with people virtually, and I help them to really look at what is beyond the clutter, like what is underneath. I help them by, asking some questions, getting them to kind of focus on some questions around their thoughts and beliefs and their feelings around the stuff, because it's
Mhm.
often, I feel it's really often not about the stuff. There's so much more going on.
Absolutely.
And help people to think about what their actions are following
Mm.
those kinds of things, and just kind of walk them through a plan that we come up with it together. But I mean, it's really it's inspired. No, that's not the word. It's instigated really by them, and I
Mhm.
guide them along.
It's like reflection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like, it's really up to them. They know their place, and they
Mhm.
know their home, and they know what they do know what they want. They might not realize that, but, after a while, they start to know. I'm working with a woman right now who I was just checking her goals that she set at the very beginning, and
Mhm.
we've met now, I believe it's six times, and I
Mhm.
was looking at her goals from day 1, and really, she is totally on track. It's
Yay.
impressive.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you get to hold
It's
space and
yeah.
support her through that, and I think I love that you, really dig deeper than just, like, the
Mhm.
physical clutter,
Yeah.
and really support people with maybe some of the emotional things that are
Mhm.
attached to the clutter and things that are really maybe blocking them from having the atmosphere and the environment that they're gonna feel super comfortable in,
Yeah.
and um, where was I going with that? It's emotional too, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest challenges people face when letting go, and how do you support them through that process?
Decisions can be really, really hard, making
Mm,
decisions for
mhm,
people. So the letting go part is really hard.
mhm,
Um, mm, I mean, it really depends on the person, of course. Everybody is so unique. It could be that, there's years and years of stuff that has piled up. And so it's not just a matter of, cleaning it up like one time. I mean, it takes a
yeah,
lot of time. Um, and decision making, I mean, again, it would be, kind of asking some questions about, when did you get that thing? What is it meant for you? Is it something that you love? Is it something that would like to keep? Or is it something you'd like to have on display? I mean, there's so many questions you can ask, right? About
yeah,
something, just to kind of help them to come up with the decision themselves, really,
yeah,
just
absolutely.
by the end of that, I would be saying, "So what do you want to do with that? Like, what is your decision about that?"
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it would be I think people sometimes just need someone to support them and asking them those questions and
yeah,
leaving space
yeah,
for them to be able to make a
yeah,
decisive decision because it can feel overwhelming.
yeah, and one of the things I really have noticed lately too, I'll ask people at the end of our session, "So how are you feeling as we close up for today?"
Mm,
And I've been getting the same responses, which are, "I feel calmer and I feel
mhm,
hopeful. I
mm.
feel hopeful."
Yeah,
And I'm surprised that it's been kinda like I've really noticed that it's the
it's the
same.
consistency.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
So
people are really connecting with.
yeah.
What a gift,
Yeah.
for you to get to give them and then to get to receive that, to be the person to
Yeah,
support them through that. I love that.
yeah.
Um, so transformation often begins with small intentional shifts.
Mhm.
What practices or mindset shifts have helped you simplify and realign with your own life? And how do you encourage others to do the same?
Well, it's pretty amazing, doing this work really helps us, I'd say,
Mm,
to do
yeah,
our own work, right? It's
yes,
amazing. It
true.
really,
Yes,
really
we walk
is.
the walk.
Yeah, we really
Yep.
do, and,
Mhm,
yeah, so that's pretty awesome.
mhm.
Um, I mean, I do talk a lot about mindfulness and, being in the moment. I mean, sometimes clutter is all about the past and all
Mm,
about the
yeah.
future, but
Yeah.
it's not about the present.
Oh,
So, I remind people that actually I mean, it is about the future in some ways,
sure. Yeah,
that's obviously something,
yeah.
but we really need it to be in the present. Like, what are you doing today? What
Yeah.
can you do today to actually make a difference and make a change,
I
right?
love that because it
Mm,
really I think that's so true when it comes to, like, our environment, especially clear, like, things we're holding on to connected to our past, and then, are we gonna have regret,
mhm.
if we let go of things, or are we gonna have regret if we don't let go of things, and
True.
kind of having that indecision, but, like, the present is, like, I have all this stuff, and it feels like it's taking over my life,
Yeah.
and so I love that you bring people back to the present and, like,
Yeah.
to kind of bring it into like, magnify why they're showing up, why they're here, why
Exactly.
they wanna do the work.
Yeah, it can be easier to avoid, right? We know that
Yes. Yes,
ourselves. It can be
exactly.
easier. But
Yeah.
anyone who is really feeling overwhelmed, certainly small steps are the
Mm.
best
Yeah.
because, you get that immediate satisfaction of, I just cleared off this little pile. Even though there's all this other stuff. And we have a saying in the group that
Mm.
I run, and it's small is huge, and
Mm.
that came from, people do challenges, weekly challenges,
Mhm.
and sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I didn't do my challenge." But then they start talking about all the things they did do,
Mm.
right? Because sometimes other things become more important, and that's
Sure.
okay,
Things happen,
or
life
more
happens.
urgent.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So we started to think, like it was kind of a group thing. And, people were saying, you did a lot. Like, yeah,
Right?
just doing something is
Yes.
awesome,
It's
because
true.
it's about the consistency too.
Yeah, and
Just
I think those small
continuing to do
wins
that. Yeah,
too,
it's a
like,
small win.
sometimes
Yeah.
if I am feeling overwhelmed, like, I'll clean my desk and maybe the rest of the house still needs cleaned,
Yeah.
but my desk feels good, and
Yeah.
that feels like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I can, move forward through work, and I feel like I'm, like, making progress in whatever it is." It feels it like, when I do break it down in small steps, it feels less overwhelming for sure,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Important to
Um
have a clean desk too when you're working,
It is,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
and so I think sometimes we think, "Oh, like, we have to do all of this," and sometimes it's like, "Yeah, but what needs to happen right now, or what can I do right now? I have 30 minutes, what can I, tackle in this timeline?"
Mhm.
To, kinda make it more manageable, and I think that's, probably something you really help your clients with. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, writing in these books was really just the beginning of your journey as an author. You've
Mhm.
since published the Decluttering Journal.
True.
And I'd love for you to share a little bit about that and how it
Yeah,
really supports people in
sure.
managing that process.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the idea. I was, writing prompts in my, Facebook group for
Mhm.
people, like, every I don't know, maybe once a week or every number of days, I'm not sure, but writing prompts. And I just thought, that would make a great, journal for
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
So yeah, I created this journal, and I really believe that writing with a focus on your clutter is kind of something
Mhm.
I would say, is so powerful.
Mm,
It really can help you to get to the root cause. I think that a lot of times people need a little bit more support than just the journal.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm planning
And
on,
that's where they maybe
offering a
move
little
into
bit of
yeah,
support coming
offerings.
up for people, but yeah, just, writing about your feelings and your beliefs about something, and
Mm,
then looking at them and examining them a little bit and asking yourself some questions. So I do provide some questions that they can ask after they do this writing, and it can really help you to start to have like a different perspective and just think, yeah, why am I hanging on to all this stuff? Like,
sure.
what is it how is it serving me sitting in a closet?
Yeah.
Maybe it is time to let go of
Abs
this,
absolutely.
right?
I think,
So,
and it's a
yeah.
great step to getting to kind introducing, potentially new people to you,
Mhm.
and to your work and kinda how you support people.
Mhm.
So we'll make sure to link it,
Okay,
in the
great.
comments for anyone who wants to grab a copy and kinda get started if you're feeling, a little overwhelmed, with your clutter or your space. And even if you just are feeling like you maybe have a lot of emotional clutter, because that's also something,
Yes,
it pours
included.
over in different areas of our life, right?
Yeah.
So make sure to grab a copy and get to experience a little bit of Kim's magic in that. Um,
Sure.
so so what's next for you? Any upcoming projects, events, or ways people can
I
connect with you?
I'm writing more. Right now, I'm working on a daily, journaling practice, and it's been really, really
Mhm.
interesting. I'm really, really enjoying that. I almost feel like if I miss it, there's something missing in my day. Like,
Oh,
I
I
need to
love
do it.
that.
I know.
Okay,
So
good
I'm
job.
working on that, and it's not, about business, it's more of a personal thing, but
Mhm.
I also started writing on, Substack. I've only had
Mm,
a
okay.
few, articles so far, or whatever, a
Yeah,
few posts,
awesome.
and it's been a slow start. But anyway, I'm wanting to do a little more about that, and that
Okay.
would be, not a little bit about business, but I need to make that a little bit more personal, as
Sure.
well. Yeah,
Sure. Folding in a little bit more of your kind
yeah.
of personal journey and what's brought you to that. I love that. So find if you're on Substack, make sure to find Kim over there. And the link that I'm sharing, your link tree, do you have a link to your Substack on there?
I don't, because
Oh,
I just kinda started that, so
okay, that's okay.
I
Find
actually don't
Kim
yet.
Tremblay on Substack if that's something,
I'll
you're
send that to
interested
you.
in
Yeah,
checking out.
thank you.
But also we are including your link, so there's lots of ways to connect with Kim, Yeah, just
Great.
see what she's up to. So, um, before we wrap up, what is one piece of encouragement? You've kind of shared a little bit, but maybe you have another one you'd like to leave our listeners with today, whether they're navigating grief or considering sharing their story or just looking for inspiration.
Yeah. I think that if you're feeling some kind of nudge to really, speak your truth or tell your story, like there's just something that's inside of yourself that's saying, I would really like to get this down even on paper.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the first step. Get it down on paper.
Mhm.
And then, decide if you wanted to share it with
Yeah,
people.
just write it like
Just
Kim
write it.
in her process of her journaling. Just you sometimes you might want a journal prompt,
Yeah.
but sometimes just open up a notebook and just get started.
Yeah.
Just write what's on your heart. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it
Yeah.
started. I actually have a guide, Rapid Writing Secrets, to kind of get people out of some of the typical things because I think sometimes we get stuck because we think, oh, we have to write and this is how it has to be done. So there's some different ideas and I'll make sure to include that in the show notes as well. So if you are
Yeah.
feeling
Okay.
stuck or needing some inspiration or different ideas to get the ideas flowing, there's lots of different ways to do it. It doesn't always have to be pen to paper or on a keyboard. I share some different ideas as well. So make sure to grab that if that's something that would benefit you. So I want to thank you so much for being here and sharing your story, your heart, and your journey with us today. Your resilience and dedication to helping others find healing is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
To everyone watching or listening, if you're ready to dive deeper with Kim's insights, make sure to grab a copy of either The Voyage in Mystics Revealed or The Voyage and the Return to check out Kim's chapter as well as the other incredible authors who shared their stories, their visions, their missions in these books. And I will include the link to connect with Kim. So make sure to take advantage of that and grab her decluttering journal because I know that there's some people out there that are like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm ready to get support, but this could be a great first step.
Yeah,
And
for
then,
sure.
kind of let's see where it goes from there. So that's all today for our author spotlight. Stay tuned for more incredible interviews with authors who are courageously sharing their stories with the world. Thank you so much,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.